did what the best poets all through the ages have done. He took that which he found when he looked around him, and he made it better before he moved on.
I think that it was probably when Tommy and I were working a place called the Fifth Peg, Gurney's Folk City. And we were doing a regular gig there, and on Monday nights there was a hootenanny night. And I remember looking down at the bar and saying, is that a fella or a girl? And there was this young, fresh-faced lad, and came up to us afterwards. He had a presence. He had something special. He got up and sang, and he started playing the piano. By God, this fella has talent. There's more to this fella than meets the eye.
When the seas will split and the ships will hit and the sands of the shoreline will be shaking.
As time went by, I remember we were together at the bar one night, and Paddy had gotten him a job playing a harmonica on Columbia Records with backing up Carolyn Hester, this folk singer from Texas. And during the coffee breaks, he started singing his songs to John Hammond.
Who was the A&R man at Columbia Records?
He got a contract out of that. And the records started selling, and he came to me at the bar one night and he said, hey, Liam, my records are selling nearly as much as yours.
Welcome to Madison Square Garden. This is Bob Dylan's night. On March 19 in 1962, Columbia Records released the first album by a new artist, Bob Dylan. Now 30 years, 38 albums, and over 500 songs later, Bob Dylan's universally recognized as one of the most powerful creative artists of our time. Backstage, we've one of the greatest collections of performing artists ever assembled, and they're all here for one reason, to pay tribute to Bob Dylan through his own songs.
How are you going to top this? I think the main thing about all of this is that here is a guy who is really deserving of this. This is not some made-up thing from some promotional stunt. I mean, Bob Dylan really deserves whatever we're going to be doing tonight. Is paying tribute to his music. I mean, it's awesome what this man has done.
I was at rehearsal the other day, and there I was playing guitar, and I looked to my left, and there's Steve Cropper. To my right is Duck Dunn. Booker T is on the keyboard. I got G. Smith. We had so much fun. You know, it was one of those things where it was so much fun, how could it be legal?
Let me tell you that the answer, my friend, is a blow blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many years can a man?
Just seeing Eric Clapton play and watching Neil Young rehearse before that was just so awe-inspiring. I wanted to cry. It was cool. I think I was more nervous than anything. So.
Yeah, I'm fine. I keep my cool around all these cats. You know.
I try to.
Right, try to be cool.
I'm trying to.
Well, I could not be here. I'd have to be here. Anything with Bob, I'd probably be hurt if I was left out. You know? I mean,
being here with all these people from Neil to, oh God, I mean, how do you start naming them all? You know, it was really great, the rehearsals, seeing everybody all in the same room, and everybody there for the same reason, really. And what was really great too was to see Bob ask somebody, is there a bridge in this song?
Well, it's very daunting to think about it, you know, to go through like 720 songs and try to work out which one you want to do and which is your favorite. Then I saw a list of songs that hadn't been done that were more the classics. I mean, in a show like this, I think it's good to do the classics because it's a tribute. It would be hard to categorize what Bob's done songwriting-wise because he's written so many coverable classics, and then he's done so many songs which it doesn't matter who sings them, they're always going to sound like him. And his storytelling is quite incredible. We watched Eric Clapton run through something, and he went, well, if that doesn't bring the house down, nothing will.
Walking down that long, lonesome road, babe.
I was in a band called the Yardbirds, and the bass player was mad about Bob Dylan, and that was enough reason for me to hate him, really, because this particular guy was a very big folk music fan, and I had no interest in folk music, and my attitude in those days was very purist. I didn't like anything. Didn't like any musician who was alive, for one thing, and who was other than black. And a young white folk singer was not interesting to me until I saw the cover of The Times They Are Changing, and this guy looked so ravaged and old for a young man. It was as good as being black in a way, in that he was old, you know, in this young body, and it sort of triggered something. I still can't figure out what. But I bought the record and was immediately converted.
I used to work in the Brill Building, and my job was to listen to the radio and write songs like Frank Sinatra or Bobby V. Right around that time, Dylan was writing his own songs and singing them, and switched over from folk to rock. And I think the impact on the whole music business was tremendous, because Tin Pan Alley went out of business after that. When I first heard Tambourine Man, I wasn't sure that it was going to be a hit single. It didn't sound like the kind of thing that was on the radio at the time, which was I Want to Hold Your Hand or She Loves You. Radio was very particular about how long a song could be. 2-3 minutes was the most time you could get on a hit single. This song was like 5 or 6 minutes long. But what we did was we changed it to one verse and changed the time signature from 2/4 to 4/4. And I put a little Bach-like intro to it, and it gave it a little kick.
I was thinking about it last night. I was thinking about how music has always been like religion to me. It's the only way I can even relate to the meaning of religion is that music was that for me. And it felt like yesterday we were in the room with maybe 10 of the 12 apostles or something like that. It was like the Mount Rushmore of rock and roll, except with more than 4 faces. was incredible.
I've been so concerned about trying not to make mistakes tonight that I haven't had a chance to, you know, assess the value of what we're doing here. There's so much respect for Dylan. I mean, really, he's driven, I think, a lot of careers, you know, and obviously.
There was a moment on Blonde where it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, we were recording something and I was playing, and I started playing this mind game with myself, which was the experience that I had playing on Highway 61. I realized after that that some of this music that we were doing was going to live forever. And so I got into this mind game of, well, wherever you put your finger next is going to be there in like 100 years. And then I just slapped myself in the face mentally and said, please don't do this. Just play the song.
I mean, he has never made a bad album, and I always buy whatever the new album is, because there's always something there that'll really knock me out. Well, I think Dylan introduced the idea of having a more complicated lyric as opposed to pop music. I mean, and we all have our own favorite pop songs, and but it's talking about the type of lyric involved with it and the complexity of the lyric involved with it.
He was truly the liberator of words in rock and roll. Whereas rock and roll used to be music of the body, he made it equally music of the mind. And for that we owe him a great debt.
Everybody knows baby's got clothes. Lately I see ribbons in her bows and the problems as they fall from her curl.
We're talking about poetry to music. The first time I heard Just Like a Woman, it moved me. And how it moved me is the same way I try to sing it. I mean, with the same feeling. What I felt, what I felt about what he was saying is inside of the song when I'm singing it.
Just like a woman, but she breaks just like a girl.
I heard him play in the cafe. Wow. There was absolutely magic. There was. What he was doing was something very new. There was an expressive voice through music. There was a great deal of spontaneousness. In spontaneity, I think there is a large bonding glue, you know, because if you're there, something is happening that isn't maybe even going to happen again, and usually never does.
Oh, the streets of Rome are filled with rubble. Ancient footprints are everywhere. You can almost think that you're seeing double.
I think this girl, a Canadian friend of ours that was working for Bob's manager, brought an album up to Toronto when we were playing one of them young street bars.
Mary Martin.
Mary Martin. And I do believe that it was before Highway 61 Revisited. It was Don't Think Twice, It's All Right, Knoxville Town, and it's pretty remarkable. It's different at that time. Listening to the lyrics, you know, Bob was definitely talking, making you think.
Bob went electric, and started adding all ourselves to the
People like us.
equation. Yeah, started adding people like us to the equation with drums and with electric bass and with electric guitars. It gave a good platform to reach from there.
He sure got reactions like nobody else got. I mean, people would hiss, boo, cheer, yell, but they never threw anything. And amazingly enough, people would listen, they'd pay attention, and they would react.
It was scary.
It was, of course, it was thrilling. It was just one of those things, that you don't experience them kind of feelings too often in life. I'm glad we got through it. Time has a way of making everything look bigger than what it really is. And thank God for time.
Because of his ability to bring into his music all these other influences, he tied a lot of loose ends up for people. I mean, having heard him as a folk musician or as a poet, whatever you want to call it, and then having heard him later with different rock and roll bands, especially with, for instance, The Band, to me it's one of those artists that I really always want to hear the new album because I've got no idea where he's going to take it next, and that's, I think, the most important aspect of him is that he moves so fast that you really almost can't keep up with him. And when you're just starting to like what he did on this album, he's gone,
They look at me and frown. They like to drive me from this town. They don't want me around, 'cause I believe in you. They show me to the door. They say, don't come back no, 'cause I don't be like they like me too. And I walk out on my own, 1,000 miles from home, but I don't feel alone.
I started off busking and stuff with the guitar, and I always did Bob Dylan songs, and he kept me alive. He literally kept me alive. Like, if it wasn't for him, I would not have survived my, life growing up with that. Like, he was the one thing that was there that told me I wasn't crazy and that I was going to survive and stay alive.
Even though we be apart, I believe even on the morning after, when the dawn is nearing.
He made me see that pop music could be about real feelings, that you could really write about, that it was like poetry or something, and that you could do that and you didn't have to write about. There was nothing, there was no rules, basically.
Pick your shoes off, do not fear. Where's that bottom over here? 'Cause I'll be your baby tonight.
One thing that Bob Dylan will always be a symbol of is the power behind the solo acoustic performance. And that no matter what kinds of innovations come about technologically in the music world, that will still, I think, be the most direct way that you can connect to an audience and that you can present a song.
There's a battle outside and it's raging. It'll soon shake your windows and rattle your walls, for the times they are changing.
He made it all right for people to be political in their art, in music, in the songs that they write.
And the problems are still there, and we're still singing about it. And it still costs people to sing about it,
It's like I managed to get myself in trouble half the time. Willie and I got ourselves banned off of the FBI got us banned off a couple of radio stations for doing a concert for Leonard Peltier down in California, or songs for I've sung for the Sandinistas. You know, that's not popular in Reagan America or Bush America. You know.
I'll be your baby tonight.
The really remarkable contribution of Bob Dylan is that he took black rural blues and white folk music, rock and roll, and the kind of Allen Ginsberg beat poetry, literary sensibility, and combined them all. It's really the first to do that. For me, I learned about Allen Ginsberg through Bob Dylan. I learned about Howlin' Wolf through Bob Dylan. He was a musicology course at university for me, really, and I think his synthesis, you know, is the basis of all the, you know, rock and roll that came subsequently.
I'll be your baby tonight.
There was a time when the music industry, I didn't think, took that much time to recognize the writer of a song. When I first started in the music business, there was a lot of guys that recorded songs, and the guy who sang the songs became very popular, but the person who wrote the songs, you very rarely heard his name. And then in the 60s, I think, they started listening more to lyrics, and they started giving the writers more credit. I know that helped me a lot, because a lot of my songs were recorded by other people, and if it hadn't been for disc jockeys and writers and the press saying, well, here's a song sung by, you know, Farron Young, written by Willie Nelson. That type of recognition is really good for the writer, and I think that came along pretty much about the same time that Bob Dylan's popularity started growing.
What was it you wanted? You can tell me I'm back. We can start it all over, get it back on the track. You got my attention. Go ahead, speak. What was it you wanted when you were kissing my cheek?
You don't have this body of standards anymore, where Frank Sinatra and Tony Bennett, where they might have recorded the same songs, and you had a series of classics written by other people. I think it probably makes for more personal music to have this songwriter you know, singing something that he wrote that comes from his own heart. I think the great thing about Bob is that he's one of the handful who've really managed to unite both. He's so eloquent for himself.
I like his style. I like the way he writes. I like the independence. I like the attitude that he comes from. Well, Bob Dylan and I, by the way, have written a song together. And yesterday I recorded another one of his songs. So I'll be seeing him in New York, and we'll be hopefully singing some together. And I'm looking forward to that. And I'm a big Bob Dylan fan.
Oh, I'm sailing with my own true love. I am sailing away in the morning. Is there something I can send you from across the sea? From the place where I'll be landing.
Oh man, like I said, if there's a party, take the clock down and put the calendar up. 'Cause I need it.
He kind of came in the era when I was buying records by anybody that had long hair, or anybody that came from England.
You know, it was kind of that kind of a thing. And I had heard the name Bob Dylan. I saw him. In those days, you knew if you saw somebody in an album cover that didn't look like the Four Seasons or didn't look like the Supremes, you thought this is hip. You know, and I said, well, I'm going to buy this because this guy is, look at him, he's cool. Look, he's got a motorcycle T-shirt, Triumph, and the cool boots, and you know, the hair and everything. And so I started listening. I said, wow. I said, that's a sound.
A wanted man in California, a wanted man in Ocean. Wherever you might look tonight, you might see this wanted man.
I was just very young when I first heard the music. I was just a teenager, so it was a little heavy stuff for a kid that had been used to listening to Herman's Hermits or something. And you could tell it was an incredible departure from that style of music, and it was unique. And I listened to it, I said, this guy's saying something. I don't know what it is, but it's something unique, and it's something different, and it's something different than going to gym class.
Wanted man in California, wanted man in Ohio. Wherever you might look tonight, you might see this wanted man. Go like me from the lake, go like me on the ground. I'm not the one you want. I'll never be there. You say you're looking for
I remember when my dad did Nashville Skyline with Dylan, I said, okay, my dad's cool. Yeah, girl from the North Country, you know. I thought, well, my father is now acceptable to me in a deep way. He is absolutely the standard for a singer-songwriter. I mean, I've studied his lyrics. You know, he's it. It's like if you're writing a good song and you want to compare it to something to see how it stands up, I think Dylan is the ultimate litmus test. It's almost impossible to articulate his sense of imagery, the way he unravels an emotional thread, the way his use of literature. I don't know, I mean, he's Bob Dylan. I know. What am I gonna say?
I know, that's what everybody said.
He asks him for living and he's out of his head. Feeds off everyone that he can touch.
I just got back from a tour through Europe and Japan. And one of the albums I took with me to listen to on the road was the Dylan box set CD's Biograph. And there was one song I kept listening to continuously because I loved it so much, and it's Foot of Pride. So when this show went down, they said, what song you want to do? I knew no one else was going for that one. You know, it's a lot of lyrics to it. And he sings really swings on the lyric. So I said immediately, Foot of Pride, because I've been listening to it, you know, practically every day for 8 months. I mean, I like the song a lot.
I was in a car with my uncle, and he had this little Panasonic tape recorder. It was a beat-up Volkswagen. I remember the windshield was smashed because he was mad at his girlfriend, and he hit it, and he was listening to, I think, Tangled Up in Blue. That was the first thing I remember. And he listened to it over and over and over and over. And I think it got him through that period, and it stuck in my head, and it never left, really.
You that fasten all the triggers, oh, the others too hard. They sit back and watch while the death count gets higher. You hide in your mansions while young people's blood flows out of their bodies and is buried in the mud.
I think it's an amazing song. Hopefully we'll get through it. I know we will, but it's
a heavy song.
It's a very heavy song, quite an anti-establishment, warmongering, and in this climate and period in time, I think it's a good time to sing that song. Or I mean, it's relevant today as it was 30 years ago, 20 years ago.
Classic works of art always seem to be timeless, and this is another example.
Yesterday at rehearsal, he came in for about half an hour, and he was there, and we were rehearsing stuff that we were trying to make rigid and static for the show. He came in and just started something else, which was his way of imprinting himself on the situation, and we had to it was like a jam, really. We took it somewhere. No one knew what it was or if it was meant to be part of anything. And he was very happy, because he kind of declared himself being there. And about 10 minutes later, he sort of edged his way to the door and sat there while I did some more stuff. And next thing I knew, he was gone. And that's the way my relationship with Bob was, even when I met him in '66. We were in the studio playing, and next minute he wasn't in the room. And I said to one of his friends, "Where's Bob gone?" And they said, "Oh, he's gone to Madrid." He's gone to Madrid. Oh, okay.
How are we going to know when the last one is?
Today we had a rehearsal with Eric Clapton and George Harrison, Bob Dylan, Tom Petty, Neil Young, and Jim Keltner playing the drums. And it was an amazing band sound. I mean, 9 guitars, but they were controlled. I mean, it wasn't like a total out of, everybody was playing in sync.
I think that what Bob Dylan did really was make consciousness popular as music. The ability to get that across on the radio and have them repeat that story is a big feat in the music business.
You know what? You forget sometimes some of the hits that he did write. You hear them a lot, and they've been redone, and they sort of become somebody else's song. You're not always looking at the label copy, and you forget that it was a Bob Dylan song. It's amazing.
If I was any more excited, I'd probably faint. But, man, I'm just not shaking because I'm Lou Reed and I'm pretty cool.
I've loved him folk, I've loved him rock, I've loved him country, I've loved him gospel. At the end of the day, as far as I'm concerned, he's a folk singer. And he's still doing what he's been doing. For years and years, he's never bought into any of the nonsense.
That's why I'm here for this. He really helped my career. And we became good friends, and we still remain good friends over all that large period of time. And I I mean, to me, he's Bob, and he's a great guy.
Years is a long span of years, and I started thinking, where was I, 30 years ago? And it's an amazing feat to remain as popular as he has for 30 years, and I congratulate him.
May your hands always be busy. May your feet always be swift. May you have a strong foundation when the winds of change are swift. May your heart always be joyful. May your song always be sung. May you stay.
As long as I can read it, I guess it'll be cool. I'll just put it up there like a hymn.